Hello, all my art-loving people out there. It is July 1st, which means it is the first day of World Watercolor Month, a very exciting month for a lot of us watercolor artists and even those of us who just want to play around. So I have the prompt list here, and just to refresh your memory, I have Denise Soden's 31 Days of Watercolor Advent Calendar for the month of July, which is very exciting because as the days go by, we get to open more and more of the fun envelopes inside. I will link the first video where I opened this box originally in the corner for you and in the description box below, so make sure you check that out after you watch this video. So just to give you a refresher of what was in day one of World Watercolor Month Advent Calendar, these were just in the box kind of loose. These are either alpaca or llamas, and we had the inspirational trio, which came with 3 very generous dot cards, which have Da Vinci watercolors. The colors are Hansa Yellow Deep, Quinacridone Red, and Da Vinci Violet. And then in the box was also a beautiful print with a thank you on the back. So that's what we've opened so far, and that's all we get to open today. So nothing new today, but we are going to paint the first prompt, which is Sunlit. One thing I want to do throughout this month is have my Da Vinci palette out and ready, because I suspect that if there are more dot cards in this advent calendar, they'll probably be Da Vinci paints. They're very nice paints, they're affordable. Denise Soden works with Da Vinci, and I wanted to see if I had these colors. Hansa Yellow Deep, so yes, I do have Hansa Yellow Deep there. Quinacridone Red, that one I do not have. Well, that's neat. I have a Da Vinci Red, a Perylene Maroon, and Red Rose Deep, and a Carmine, and an Alizarin Crimson. So the Quin Red is new. Oh, and it's a PR209. Ooh, PR209s are very nice usually. And then I do have the Da Vinci Violet PV23, which is this one right here. So that one, and then the new PR209. So I was thinking originally that these dot cards were so generous I could probably put any new colors into a half pan and kind of add into this palette. I think I am going to have to take the pans off of this case here because they are just not gonna fit. Not only that, I have all of these, and some of these might be new that I need to add into this Da Vinci palette. So this one's just a refill. Violet Iron Oxide. So that's that one right there. So I still have a full pan of that, so that one doesn't need to be added in. The Raw Umber Violet, I don't think I have because isn't that a mixture? Yeah, American Journey and Da Vinci, but I was thinking it's such a pretty color that I would put it in this Da Vinci palette. So that's new, so that would have to come in here. So this is Denise's Gray, and I don't have that, and I'm very excited for that. So that needs to be added in here. Joyce's Mother Green is another new one that I need to add in here. So exciting. I have Denise's Green in this palette. That's right here. But now I have Joyce's Mother's Green. They're both beautiful ones. This is Joyce's Mother Violet. Another new color, so that needs to be added with the violets. And this one, Stormy. So excited for all of these. They're so awesome. However, you can see in my current configuration, there's no room for 5 more half pans. So this is gonna be a palette redo at some point here. I don't know if I have time to do it today, but it's definitely something I want to do soon, which is such a bummer because that means my whole swatch sheet needs to be redone. Oh, big sigh. Very excited to have the new colors, not so excited to redo the swatch sheet. And I should probably be cautious about redoing anything right now until I figure out what else is in the advent calendar from Denise Soden, because as you can see, these are big enough dots that we could probably add them in here, like I said in the beginning, in their own little half pans, or at least cut the piece of paper out and put them in here in some way. So I think we'll save the palette redo for the end of the month just to be safe, like I said. And I'm kind of curious. So in my plan for World Watercolor Month was to incorporate some of the prompts into the class that I'm teaching in the middle of August, or actually I think it's October, whatever, I can't remember. But we're painting some things in the valley, some very famous scenes, and Sunlit was one that I wanted to use with this place that we can go to called Hanging Lake because it's just gorgeous. I'll put a picture up here on the screen. It's probably already on the screen for you. And I thought I could do Sunlit with that. However, I haven't found the picture that I quite want with that, and I'm a little concerned because it's a weekend day that I don't actually have time to paint that full painting. I think that's going to take at least 3 hours or more to paint that kind of painting. And I wanted to try and use just the 3 colors also that she sent over for day 1 for the prompt Sunlit. So I'm thinking maybe in my sketchbook I'll do a little Sunlit scene, and then I'll consider if I want to do Sunlit for Hanging Lake later. But I also thought Hanging Lake could fit the prompt Otherworldly because it really is otherworldly. So it's not a big deal if we don't do that today. Let's go ahead and use these 3 colors. And now that I know I don't have the PR209 in my palette, I feel like it's kind of precious. Like I don't want to use it, but I'm going to. So let's try and just use these 3 colors and paint a Sunlit scene. This is my Bao Hong Academy sketchbook. You can see its details there. And I haven't painted in this sketchbook in a while. I have that very ugly painting. Then I redid it much more effectively. And I have that one. And this one was the last one I did, so that was January of this year. All right, so I'm just going to do this from my head. I think maybe I can get away with that. I don't often paint well without a reference. I'm just one of those people that do better when I have something to look at, but we're going to try it. And if it's a failure, then it's a failure. Who cares, right? I mean, I care, but it's just a sketchbook. One thing I am going to sketch here is, I think I'll do a little horizon line just so I know that it's below halfway across and it's relatively straight, like so. You can see I've been trying to use my Blackwing pencil as much as possible because I have a crutch of using my mechanical pencils all the time, and then my fun pencils like this never get used. So I have been using this and I like it and it's fun. Okay, I feel like my chair didn't go up high enough and that I may need to stand up. I feel like I can't see things very well. Okay, I'm a little scared. Oh, I wonder if I should tape the edges. Yes, I think I will. Well, that took an eternity, but it's all taped, and I kind of have dirty water here from previous painting, but that's okay. I'll use the clean side. I'm kind of not sure, without a reference, how this is going to turn out. I'm excited to see. Kind of wondering if I should water the water part of this scene too. Yeah, I think so. We'll just water the whole page. I don't think that tape stuck over there very well. This is a great combination of colors, at least for the kind of painting that I chose to do. The richness of that Hansa Yellow Deep, you can see that on the paper there. It's just astounding. Not to mention, I picked really good paper to work on. That helps everything too. But when you have good paints, good brushes, and good paper, well, you just can't go wrong with all of that. And don't worry, I won't speed up the entire painting process, just the beginning part here because, I don't know, it's just laying in some color in the sky, so not too big of a deal. But you can see I'm using the dot card itself to mix in orange. I have trouble mixing right on my sketchbook paper, so trying to mix it on the palette works better for me first. Purple. Purple time. Woo-hoo. This is going to be a explosive purple. It's so vibrant. Oh, wow. All right, we're gonna let that dry. It is dry enough, so let's use the purple to do the next step. This will be very similar to several paintings I've done before, and that is a-okay. When you're doing a painting every single day, sometimes it's good to do things that you are comfortable with, that are fast and easy. So let's just do it. And I'll show a little bit of this to you in real time, but this was almost 13 minutes of just repeating the same paintbrush movements over and over, dotting in trees, a little bit of foliage, and some, I don't know, sticks or bushes. That's what I'm calling them anyway. So starting with just the purple, this is the Da Vinci Violet, remember, and I'm going to just use that across the entire horizon line, and towards the end I go back with the other 2 colors, and oh, does that change things and make it pretty awesome. It's just neat how when you add other colors from other parts of your painting into all the areas, I don't know, it just adds a little something special to your painting, at least to my paintings, and I like the way it turns out. So I'm jumping ahead in little blips here and there, but you can see I'm trying to make trees look like trees, but I'm also trying to make them look different because every tree in nature is different than its previous friend. I didn't really know how else to say that. So I didn't want all the trees to be symmetrical. I didn't want them to be all the same size or even the same color, basically. So yes, they're all dark and dark purple, but I do alter the color, I don't know, the intensity a little bit more towards the end, even with just the purple itself, even before I add in some of the other colors. And some of it I do after I add in the other colors, but you'll see that. One thing I've been itching to do in my paintings is do more muted scenes, because if you've been following me for a while, you know that I pretty much paint bright, light, vibrant things. But I've had this strong desire lately to paint muted scenes. And so I have those Paul Rubens precipitating watercolors. Definitely think I want to try some of those out. And then even just in my regular palettes, trying to do some scenes that I've already done before in a more muted palette, I think would be really fun. Now, obviously on this palette, I'm stuck with these three colors, and I say stuck loosely and kiddingly because it's a joy to use these three colors, but it does bring up the fact in my mind that, yeah, I think doing this in maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I think those Paul Rubens precipitating colors, they're just gorgeous. And even some of the colors that were sent to me recently, like that Boreal Blue would be a nice one. That Da Vinci and American Journey Raw Umber Violet mixture that was put together, oh, that would be so pretty. So do you guys have any painting ideas that you've just been itching to do? Let me know in the comments below. It would be really fun to see if something's been sparking your interest lately. Also, if you're doing World Watercolor Month, how was your first day? I would love to know that as much as anything else. I think we're in this together. At least it's a lot easier to do a challenge like this when you know there's a lot of other people doing it with you. And I decided to put some birds in this guy because I wanted them. It just brings a little bit of movement and life to a painting, I think, when you add little birds. So it's right after I add these birds in that I take the Cherry Quin Red and get as much on my brush as I feel I should, and then dab it on the light side of the trees, so the sunny side basically. And then as I get closer to the middle, I'll use the Hansa Yellow Deep instead for the right side of the trees, or the left side of the trees if I'm on the right side of the paper, but you know, the light side, that's what I mean. And then once I finish doing all of that, I go ahead and water the water, put water over the water, and add in the reflection of the trees. And that's one of my most favorite things to do. It's also kind of scary sometimes, but really it's just fun. You can see I'm just dabbing in the purple paint on wet paper, so it kind of diffuses itself out automatically, makes it nice and easy. And then I do bring the big flat brush back over it and kind of go side to side, and then I pull a couple of purple streaks a little bit into the middle to maybe look like breeze or kind of a wave or a ripple. So do stay tuned clear to the end because I kind of throw it in a weird place, but I do change my Da Vinci palette a little bit and incorporate these dot cards into it. So I don't want you to miss that by thinking the video's over before it actually is. So yeah, stay to the end. And here's where I add in a little of the Quin Red and the Hansa Yellow Deep in the lake. And oh, the glow it brings is just beautiful. And I'll talk a little more about that later. We are done. I'm so happy with this. I know it's just a simple little painting, but I am in love with it. And that's always a good feeling. When you like how your artwork comes out, then it's a good day. One thing that I like the most about this is when I added that Hansa Yellow Deep in to the reflection. It added some incredible warmth into the lake, and it just astounded me how like bright and beautiful that color ended up being. It was, oops, that's going to be a huge bloom now. Didn't mean for that much water to go in there. So I'll have to add or fix that later when I have some more color and drier paper. But yeah, it was like when I added that Quin Gold, or was it the Quin Gold? I can't remember, to the flower painting that was just up. Geez, was that only yesterday? Anyway, it just adds some warmth and glow, and it's just so pretty. It makes me happy. All right, we'll see if that blooms or if it survives. But here is World Watercolor Month, Day 1, Sunlit. One thing I wanted to try here, and it might be a total failure, so I'm taking you along on this journey with me. I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. Clean that up a little bit. And the purple is so dark it kind of takes care of itself, but I wondered if I could take these off of the watercolor paper. Interesting. I bet if I soaked the back of the watercolor paper, it would come off a lot more easily. It's not doing horrible. Let's see what it looks like once we get it off. It's probably shouldn't have got it wet just then. The paint I'm talking about, because I want to touch it with my hands now, and now it's wet paint. But if we get this off of the paper, what I'm thinking is I can use a piece of water. That is not the brain that I need. What I'm thinking is if I can get the, what do you call this? If I can get the paper off the back of this little swatch. Now I'm making it even more drippy. This is probably not my smartest plan in the whole world here. Just want the paper off of it. Okay, I probably should have soaked the paper like I mentioned, and I'll try that with the purple one. But my plan was if I could get the paper off of it, then I could stick it onto my half pan that I already have of Hansa Yellow Deep. Hey, it's working. What do I do with this mess? Good thing I have a trash can nearby here. So there may be a tiny bit of paper left there. Yep, just a tiny bit, but it's slowly peeling off. There we go. I think I got the last of it. I will wet my Hansa Yellow Deep. That's already pretty wet. And I'm gonna stick that on it. And squish it down and go wash my hands really thoroughly. Before I go wash my hands though, I think I'm gonna soak the back of this paper where the purple is. Let's really get that wet. I'm not going to do that with the Quin Red though, because I don't have a pan of it already to stick on there. So I may just cut the paper out and stick it in this palette as is. Because it's the back side of the paper, it's not really soaking through much, but I'll leave a big blob of water on that. Go wash my hands and see what we come back to. Washed my hands, made the ink yellow, and I let this sit even longer. Wow. My palette knife's still yellow. So let's see if we flip it over, if it'll pull off of the paper easily or not. Oh yeah, nice and soft. Sweet, that was easy. Let's see if I have any extra paper. No extra paper on it. So that's the key there. And this one here is my Da Vinci Violet. Water that, water the back of that. Stick it on the top. There we go. Oh man, I got it on my hands after all. As for this one, I will just cut it apart a little here. Leave some of the paper. Then on the back, then I can write what it is. There we are. And I'll just throw that in there like that. Well, that was fun, incorporating those colors into this palette. We will put this all away for now. Here's World Watercolor Month, Day 1, Sunlit, and fun advent calendar to boot. So you can create an entire painting. You can probably create about, by the amount of paint I have left on this dot card, I imagine I could probably do 20 more paintings of this size. I'll probably run out of that PR209 first. That's the Quin Red, right? Yeah, just called Quin Red. Yeah, probably run out of that one first. That dot was a little bit smaller than the others, and that's probably why. Plus, it's a very peachy, I don't know, coral type of color. So some people might call it low tinting, but really it's not. It's just that it's a coral type of color. So if you're trying to get a deep red and that's the only red you have, then you have to use a little more of it than you would maybe normally want to if you had a different red to put in the mix, you know? All right, well, stay tuned. Hopefully tomorrow I can get another video showing the next day in the advent calendar. And happy World Watercolor Month. See you in the next one. Bye for now.